Hello learners, welcome to EasyElimu Learning Simplified. I am teacher Jonathan, and in our today's lesson for grade 4 mathematics, we are making patterns using shapes. And for our start, how can you identify a 2D shape? For more on this, join me in making patterns using the shapes. And in our previous lesson, we looked at the properties of 3 shapes, that is the rectangle, the square, and the triangle. And today, in our pairs, can you kindly help me identify the following features, the shapes? We have this one. What is the name of that shape? We have also another shape here with me. What is the name of that shape? And what is the name of this shape? In our pairs, Victoria, what is the name of this shape? It is a square, correct. And Tom, what is the name of this shape? It is a triangle, correct. And Victor, what is the name of this final shape? It is a rectangle. Good of you. Now, let us join in our groups. We want to learn how to make patterns using these shapes. And the first one will be using these colored paper cutouts. I have those colored paper cutouts, and as we work on them, let you be keen on observing the following. Shapes, if we want to arrange, we arrange them in a laid manner. We don't just jumble them. So kindly arrange them in a well-organized manner. For example, if we were to start with the rectangle here on this side, and I follow it with a square, and I want also to follow it with a triangle, what else should now follow here? I should start with a square. Then after my square, what? Not a square, because the first one was not a square. We started with a rectangle, followed by a square. And then after a square, we had a triangle. Learners, you can see that pattern. Rectangle, square, triangle. We have to start again. Rectangle, square, triangle. So, what will be the next order? I would like to ask in our groups. Can you try to add the others? What will be in the next order? John, the first one to start here will be a rectangle. Correct. So I can proudly pick a rectangle, put it here. What will be the next card or shape to follow from you, Wangari? It will be a square. So I will follow it with a square. A square will be followed by which other shape? Yes, Jen, it will be followed by a triangle. So a triangle will follow in that order. So I pick a triangle and place it here. Learners, this is a pattern that we have formed. And the pattern that we have formed, it is of this shape. Let me trace it here. We have started with a rectangle which was followed by a square. A square followed. After a square in our arrangement, we followed a triangle. After a triangle, what followed now from there? We have a rectangle following. Rectangle starts again from that side. After a rectangle now, we have a square. We have a square following. After a square, what is following is a triangle. And the order again continues. Just that is what we have arranged on our table, and the shapes continues arranging themselves. Now, before we try to make patterns, I also have other things with me. Today, I have also come with blocks, and I want us also to form patterns using these blocks. Now, learners, let me pick this first block. It is in the shape of a square. This block, if it is followed by another rectangle. What should I follow it here? What are you supposed to follow here? You follow it with another square. So that is the pattern then. So what should follow here should be a rectangle. After that, the other pattern, what follows will be a square. Then after a square now, what other will follow? It will be a rectangle, and our pattern continues. So we have a square, a rectangle, a square, a rectangle, a square, a rectangle. In the so doing, we have formed a pattern. We have formed a pattern. Learners, this is how we form patterns using shapes. This is how we form patterns using shapes. We have started with a square. We have started with a square, followed by a rectangle, followed by a square, followed by a rectangle, and the chain continues. This is just a sample. Now, learners, you can come up with other patterns involving the shapes that we have learned. You can decide either to arrange square, 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 square alone, or a rectangle, a rectangle, a rectangle, a rectangle alone, or triangle, triangle alone. Or you can also choose to work to start with a square, two rectangles, a square, two rectangles, a square, two rectangles. That is a pattern also you have formed. Now, learners, in our task for today, I would like us to form or to make patterns, at least 5 patterns using the shapes that we have made. Make 5 patterns using the shapes that we have learned. Learners, our task is make 5 patterns using the shapes that we have learned. Remember, to do more practice, there are a lot of number games involving shapes. In the internet, you can try to go and play as you learn. Let us meet in the next lesson.